Good morning, everyone. My name is Mighty Stream, and I'm going to do our June 4th just for today in a meditation. I hope you're doing well this morning. Let's go ahead and get into the meditation. Build, don't destroy. Our negative sense of self has been replaced by a positive concern for others. That comes from the basic text, page 16. Spreading gossip feeds a dark hunger in us. Sometimes we think the only way we can feel good about ourselves is to make someone else look bad by comparison. But the kind of self-esteem that can be purchased at another's expense is hollow and not worth the price. How then do we deal with our negative sense of self? Simple. We replace it with a positive concern for others. Rather than dwell on our low self-esteem, we turn to those around us and seek to be of service to them. This may seem to be a way of avoiding the issue, but it's not. There's nothing we can do by dwelling on our low sense of self except work ourselves into a stew of self-pity. But by replacing our self-pity with active, loving concern for others, we become the kind of people we can respect. The way to build our self-esteem is not to tear others down, but to build them up through love and positive concern. To help us with this, we can ask ourselves if we are contributing to the problem or to the solution. Today, we can choose to build instead of destroy. Just for today, though I may be feeling low, I don't need to tear someone down to build myself up. Today, I will replace my negative sense of self with a positive concern for others. I will build, not destroy. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking deeply about this meditation. And I kept seeing, this being read today at the different meetings. And in my mind, I kept seeing people get up and go get coffee or leave or go out to vape, because there's an essence about this particular meditation that we all can relate to. I think at some point in time, all of us have destroyed rather than build. And this is just a day, this is just an opportunity, June 4th, to take another look at how well we're doing in that area. And we might not be doing well at all when it comes to gossip. We might actually be in a phase where we're complaining about everything, and anybody that will allow us to bend their ear, we're going to tell them what we think about everything in every situation. And then they walk away feeling weighted down with our darkness, our negative sense of self and energy. And they probably don't know what to do with it. They probably are thinking, wow, I didn't expect to have all of that spewed on me, but next time I'll just avoid them, right? They might be thinking that about us. It's so easy to do. You know what's hard is developing a reputation that tells people, don't go to him or her with my mess. Don't go talking about someone else to that person because they're always going to say, what part did you play? What's your side of the story? What are they actually whispering about you to other people? Tell me that. I'm more interested in what they might be saying about you because that's probably more close to the truth and it's probably closer to what you're able to actually do something about because you cannot change a single person, right? You can try to manipulate them into change, but you can't change people and you can't change what they think about you other than give them something positive to think. But even that, even in right action, you're not in control of what they'll say. I heard someone say, it's not my business what other people think about me. And I don't necessarily completely agree with that, right? I want people to think positively about me. And if I find out that they're not thinking positively about me, I want to know, like, why? What have I done? What have I done? So when people throw me shade, I'm always trying to figure out what's the shade about? What are you talking about? And a lot of times that takes people off guard because they're used to going around being able to say negative things, throw shade, throw people under the bus, gossip about people behind their back, and no one actually says, what is it about? What have I done? Tell me what I've done, and then I can either speak to it or I'll have to acknowledge it, admit my wrong, but don't throw shade and make me think that I'm supposed to know exactly what you're talking about. They'll throw shade and then they'll run off and they'll just tell someone what they think about you. They'll gossip. Don't be that person. Okay, so yesterday you gossiped for what? 10, 15 minutes, an hour, maybe all day. I don't know. Maybe you stayed on the phone all day, didn't have a whole lot to do, and just ran people in the ground. I have no idea. However, what I do know is that this is a new day. This is June 4th, and you have the ability to stop yourself before you get started. I found this happening with me, and I don't know if you can relate to this or not. Having children, they're kind of like ready-made teddy bears. You know how you take your teddy bear when you were a kid and cry into your teddy bear or um, just act like your teddy bear was your counselor. I know I did. I didn't have too many teddy bears, but right? We act like our children are our silent observers, right? They sit around waiting for us to tell them about how bad everything is. And then we wonder why they have an attitude. We wonder why they don't want to sit at the dinner table with us, why they rather be on their devices, why they might ask you how you're doing or acknowledge you because they have to, because it's respectful when they walk in the house, right? But they're not really trying to sit down with you. And maybe we notice our mates do the same thing. They come in, acknowledge us. Maybe they have a meal with us, maybe they don't, right? But they're really not trying to hang out with us. Why? Okay, let's take a pulse. It's important, and I'll let you go, right? Let's take a pause. Everybody just stop for a moment and think about yesterday, June 3rd, and think of your interactions. Were people engaging you, or were they basically throwing shade or trying to get away from you, avoiding you? When I walk in the door, the boys flock to me. They come right to me, right? They yell to each other that I'm home. And I haven't even taken off my shoes, my boots, maybe even my coat. But they're right there at the front door, acknowledging that I'm here. And they want to sit down and have a chit chat, right? They stop what they're doing to hang out with me. That took effort. That took effort. That took me understanding, knowing the difference between the fact that they're kids and they pretty much don't have a choice but to listen to me when I'm talking, and that I have a choice about what I spew, what I say to them, how I affect their day. Right? One day I was taking the oldest one. This is all about speech and negativity, right? I was taking the oldest one to school, and we pulled up. There were like one or two cars in front of us. And I said, "Oh my gosh, why do they pull up with their kids and just sit? This is a, drop off. People are supposed to pull up and then let the kids out and keep on moving, but you got to sit there. And then before you know it, you're stuck with other people behind you, and no one's kid is getting out. Why does this happen?" And the kid looked over at me. I kid you not. He said, "Well, I think I know why." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because every kid is dying to get out of the car, but their parents is just going on and on and on about everything, nothing even related to school. The kids want to get out, but the parents won't let them go." And I looked at him and I said, "Are you trying to tell me something?" Get out my car, right? I still sometimes hold him a little bit longer than he wants to be held, dropping him off, but try to be mindful to start his day out positively, to talk positively, to be energetic. Always tell them when they're getting out the car, remember who you represent, right? Telling them you represent God. Remember who you represent, right? Respect others and defend the bullied. I love you. Have a great day, right? I tell them that every morning, those same 5 things or so, every morning before I let them get out, because I want to start their day. There's nothing worse than when I am upset with one of them about something and I use the car ride to do the correction. Because in the car ride, then by the time they get out of the car, they're downtrodden, right? They're feeling sad. They maybe even have tears in their eyes. I've only done that a handful of times, but every time I have done it, I told myself I'll never do that again. I will never let our parting words be something that I came down on them about, right? I always wanted to be loving and caring and encouraging. And so we can build and not destroy. We can start today with doing that. Every interaction, every conversation. Now, I know people will bring stuff to you that is going to be gossip. You know the problem with that? The problem with that is that they think it's okay. In your mind, you may be thinking, shouldn't you be telling this person about that? Shouldn't you be talking directly to them? Why are you coming to me with that? In your mind, you may be thinking that. But here's the problem. Very few of us are assertive enough to tell the person, I don't want to hear that. I am so sorry that you're going through that with them, but I'm trying to have a good day. I don't have anything to do with that. I don't want to hear about that. Why don't you go talk to them? Very few of us will suggest that the individual go have a direct conversation. And so what happens is that we are complicit in the way, right? In the way that we respond, we allow them to think that we want to hear all that dirt, all that gossip. Yeah. And you know what? When you do it, the same thing happens. No one speaks up. But I guarantee you, there's more people in the world that don't want to be bothered with gossip. You know why? Because it's negative and it makes you feel a negative, tired energy. It causes you to judge people sometimes you don't even know. There's more people, I think, I don't have a statistic, right? This isn't empirical research, right? But I believe that there's more people like that that don't want to be bothered with gossip than there are that do. And every day I have to make a decision whether I'm going to be upbuilding or I'm going to destroy things around me. Just with my mouth, just with my words, my thoughts and my words about other people. And I try not to put them on people. Now, you put hands on someone and you hurt them, right? You can hurt people. It's a weapon. You can use your hands as a weapon. It's called assault, right? But you can also assault people with your words, whether they're in front of you, right? Or you're doing it behind their back. Character assassination is an awful thing to have to live through. And there have been many a people that didn't live through it. They chose not to go through it because it was just that bad, right? And so today, let's not do that. You know why? Because we're in recovery, folks, right? We are in recovery. We are about change. And when you start biting your tongue and becoming quiet, when other people are gossiping or trying to pull you into gossip, it may take a little bit longer than you actually just speaking up and letting them know you don't want to hear that. But eventually they'll get tired of talking to you. Eventually, I think they will, right? When I at work, I go into the kitchen and I walk into a gossip session. I pretend that I wasn't even there for what I came there for. I turn right around. I greet them. I turn right around and go back to my office because I don't have the energy. I got enough problems. My clients have enough problems. I don't want to hear gossip. I don't want to hear gossip. And I don't mind having conversations about myself, right? If someone wants to know something. But I don't like being interrogated either, right? Especially in the middle of a busy day. I don't want to be interrogated. I don't want to play 50 questions. I'm a grown person and I'm here to get a job done, right? And so let's treat other people the same way, right? Because a lot of times the questioning is only going to fuel later gossip, right? And so we have to be careful. We personally in recovery have to be mindful of what side of this issue we're on, right? And when we're engaging other people, let it be out of real concern. Because the lesson here is that we gossip with it in mind to upbuild ourselves. A lot of people will not admit that, but it happens all the time. If I can tear you down, that makes me look better than what I'm saying you're doing. Most people don't go around thinking, oh, let me gossip about a person so I can make myself feel better. But if you pay close attention to it, that is exactly how it's coming across, that you think you're better than that. And that is worth you talking about rather than whatever it is you need to work on. So we can do better. So let's do better. We know to do better. So let's just go ahead and do it. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting day at meetings today. Well, you know what? I think that you can handle it. Whatever the day is going to be, I think you can handle it. I have confidence in you. I have a feeling that it's going to be a great day for you because you're going to do it on purpose. Have a beautiful day on purpose. Talk to you tomorrow.